to our everyday problems. Under the leadership of Chief Justice Bryan Sykes, the backlog in courts, specifically parish courts, are now in line with international standards. There is plenty more work to be done in the Supreme Court. However, with significantly more cases filed than disposed, the situation is even more daunting in the traffic court, with an estimated 400,000 outstanding tickets. How can we provide solutions to these decades-old problems? Governments past and present have tried to address the issue with very, very little success. Later on in the show, we will discuss the UHWI Fraud Investigation, particularly how do we resolve the obvious institutional weaknesses at one of the region's premier health facilities. Now joining me in the studio to explore the topic in great detail are Winston Mollison, a former Army medic, community activist, and running enthusiast, and Mr. Cleon Ranger, a businessman and accountant by profession. Gentlemen, welcome to the Solution Podcast.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Andrew, to have me.
All right, great.
On the podcast.
We have been discussing this off air, and there's a particular issue that I want to put out there from now, and I think this will sort of, shape the direction where we go with this half of the discussion. So, our technical engineer at the back, Peter Simmons, last year, it was time for him to renew his driver's license. And he found out that he had an outstanding ticket. So he was told at the tax office that he needs to get that sorted out. So of course he had to go all the way to Ellis Road, and they eventually gave him a court date. It was $5,000 for a speeding ticket, I think he said. Now that took him maybe about 2 weeks, I think, for him to go to court, and he ended up had to go to the traffic court, I think, near Sabina Park, I believe, and having done all of that, he paid the fine. And I looked at it and said, why is it that he would now need to go through all of that rigmarole, right? Why not just create a system where even if you are late in paying a traffic fine, why not just add a late fee? But then the motorist would just have to go to the tax office and pay that fee rather than going to the court. And I have been hearing ministers after ministers speak about the backlog in court, especially traffic court. We have seen where they have done some work in the parish court. But over 400,000 outstanding traffic tickets, and all you can hear those in authority say that they will put out an amnesty. They would from time to time encourage motorists to come forward and pay, and they should check the website or check Ellis Road to see if there's an warrant out. And I'm saying that, in this day and age, it's not a criminal offense they have committed. It's a traffic violation, which is a ticketable offense. Why not just add a late fee, and then there is no need for them to go to court? So the only way a person should be brought before the court for as it relates to traffic violation, if there's a case of manslaughter or the vehicle was involved in some crime, in my view, right? But I believe that the state would eliminate the majority of those outstanding tickets by just applying a late fee, right? And this 400,000, you would clear up that backlog in no time. And I believe many motorists would accept that. rather than spending so much time in the going to court, you spend a whole day. I don't know if any of you have ever had that experience, but you end up spending a whole day, right, before you go in front of the judge, just to say guilty and pay the fine. You understand me? When
Well, Andrew,
yeah.
The situation of the backlog is a multifaceted situation that would cause it. Now, first and foremost, the driving culture in Jamaica no good. All right? Even though your engineer have expressed a particular circumstances, but all that 400,000 ticket is not the same circumstances. So we driving culture is not very good, and I don't think the transport arm of JCF has done any good job in sensitizing the nation of the laws, and then you as a driver should even know the laws as well and change the culture of driving, because when you drive if you drive on the road, you see anything we have on a red plate, I'm afraid of it. Anything, it's like once we see red plate is a hazard, because they are going to do something stupid.
And dangerous.
And yes. So we culture of driving need to change to help the system to have so much. And if you should do a ratio of those tickets compared to regular driving plates in comparison to a red plate, you could have more than 50% of them tickets is a red plate people. You get what I say?
Right.
So the culture helps to have this backlog. Nonetheless, I say the people of authorities not supposed to put on their thinking cap and try to figure out how we can correct these things.
Right.
Take for instance your bridging situation. Him get a ticket, it could be many things that cause him to not pay the ticket on time. He could have been broke. And have the money, and when we do go borrow money, he could have nobody to borrow it from. No loan institution now lend him $5,000. So now right down, he never have the money at the time. Couldn't go pay. So on the ticket, you have a court date. Now court date pass, then say you have to go Elliston Road. Why Elliston Road? Why it couldn't be Spanish Town of a department we do the same thing like Elliston Road. Man, all over you have to left from all over go. We are Elliston Road when you could have given the option a Spanish Town then. And that would have helped cut down him unproductive time.
But yeah. I would even add, I hear this money stuff, I would even add that why not just have a system
where you can go to a portal, which I think Peter was saying that something like that exists now, I'm not too sure. But why not just go have a
create a portal and you punch in information, and rather than it, you're looking to see if there's a warrant out for you. Why not just once you punch in that information, it now gives you a new court date. You understand me? And you just print that off from wherever you are in your own convenient time. Right?
I want to join the discussion by saying I concur with what Fox has said about the culture, the change in culture of driving, particularly in Jamaica. Now, in order for this culture to change, there has to be public education.
Yes.
Public education goes beyond the parameter of teaching a man how to drive. It is in the same context that you would say, you have to apply your brakes whenever time you're going to stop and so forth, and you have to engage the clutch in order to put a gear. Now, the public education has to be twofold. One, the very procedure that is involved, so the very people who work in the institutions that would have been taking step even writing the ticket, that is to include the police, because there are times when the police will write a ticket and there's even some data from you is missing. Or he did not pay keen attention and leave out some vital information. For example, writing a registration plate number. If you write the incorrect plate number for my vehicle, hey, give me a ticket. Hey, sorry, I was not driving my vehicle. And I know it's going to create an issue, so I know I have to go to court. That is also part of the backlog issue.
Right.
Had the police been educated enough on the program, and I say public education means knowledge of the system, not talking about the literacy level of the police officer, but on the point of him knowing the full context of what is expected and what he should do, he would have avoided, as far as possible, writing AZ when the correct is AB, even though the numbers correspond, but the letter, it is incomplete.
Can be a human error and film part.
It is.
Tardiness of doing his job, because I'm quite sure that all the traffic cop has gone through seminars, orientation,
no doubt about
training. Them go through that.
So we
wouldn't blame the institution itself, but the officer who are write the ticket.
Right. So to lament further on the whole public education. Public education ought not to be confined when it comes around near taxes to be collected and government or whatever institution would have recognized they did not meet the shortfall. And so you're talking about amnesty. It should be a continuous process where people can always say, no man, I heard this on the government channel, which is in this case Jamaica JIS.
Right.
I can quickly, because information, knowledge now is at your fingertip.
Right.
And so whereas it is to be disputed, even the person, the citizen can say, officer, no. You are writing me a $5,000 ticket for a seatbelt when the law says only $500.
Right.
If you insist, I'm going to court. And so that also creates a backlog in the system. You're going to waste resources because the police wasn't aware, the police officer wasn't aware that it's not a $5,000 ticket he should have issued.
Right. But a $500.
But a $500. So that is why public education is very relevant and necessary at all levels in terms of dealing with the issue that we are now faced with. Now,
and just that too, normally. You did know that fog lamp being on is a violation of the traffic law.
Indeed so.
But yet still,
there are vehicles.
There are vehicles where come down now, where government allow to come down. You get a certificate of fitness to register that vehicle with automatic fog lamp. Now, as a matter of fact, they call it daytime driving light. The purpose of it, is to allow other drivers to see you come, to help minimize accidents, or even the pedestrian who have a vision impairment.
Right.
When him look down the road, come across, he see one light a come, so him knows there one vehicle. But if the light did have, maybe he wouldn't recognize there one vehicle. So these old laws in regards to the traffic with the modern vehicles now, these old laws need to be amended, come off the books too.
Right.
Not even amended, but just come off the books, because it's unnecessary, and you have people with tickets like those in the backlog.
Well, true. But the issue too, that I am really zooming in on, I mean, whilst as I mentioned, the problem, we see some vehicles nowadays where they didn't look like right.
Based on the technology being used.
Because it's ID driving at night now, I don't know. Motorists on the road now cannot attest to this. Driving at night in Jamaica has become more difficult than ever.
right? It has become more
It is
difficult.
a competition with the lights to
to
hit you.
So, but what I want to go back to though is that as it relates to a traffic violation and you get a ticket, my point is this: only if the motorist decides to challenge
The ticket.
then
you
you
go to court.
to go to court, right? Once the motorist decides not to, then you automatically should just go to the tax office, whether you pay it on time or not. If you pay it on time, you pay the standard fee. If you pay it beyond outside of the stipulated time frame, then there's a late fee or penalty that applies to that charge. You understand me?
Right.
I slightly have a little different view to that approach. Once the motorist is issued a ticket, it should be standard procedure that a date is established should he so choose to want to contest the ticket in the event he forgets, and also that if him decides him just not pay the ticket and think he just exits in a day.
But let me clarify the point. If it is that you decide you intend to challenge but forget and the due date pass, then you accept
the liability.
And therefore there is no court date now for you more than you got to. The tax office and pay the fine. Because you got a time frame to challenge this or pay the fine. You understand me?
And that is why it is automatically generated that in the event the date you should pay the ticket has expired, the next stage is to the court.
The reason give me an idea during the listen.
Yes.
When Andrew, is 2 dates on the tickets where you must pay by such date, and then you have another date for court. I believe that you see date where you get for court is the following day. The day before should be the date, the last time where you can pay. Because there's a gap between the 2 dates. There should not be a gap. So me if I go to court the 28th of February, then we should have the option to pay on the 27th of February. Online.
That is one option, but by virtue of our banking system, I would say to you, I would further endorsing your point that say allow the maximum time of 48 hours. The reason being, if it is that your court date had fallen on a Friday and you miss that court date and choose to do, even in midnight you do want to do the backing, whether it be Friday night, Saturday night or Sunday, by the next working day, it is effective to you, because if you pay after the court date Friday night, and by virtue of 24, 48 hours passed, then it would have triggered the system to you to go to court. So as to minimize that gap, you set a 48 hours window period, which allows you to pay so that the transaction can go through the system.
But that can be easily solved enough. The system can be so programmed where if you pay on the Friday, for example.
Just using the fact that it's a Friday
right,
and you're going into the weekend.
Right.
You would not generate
warrant,
so to speak, or warrant. They automatically.
Yes.
Because that window on the weekend would have protected you.
Okay.
In that instance.
Right.
So the only way a warrant would have been generated now. If now the end of if Monday morning comes, answer by midday, when the bank clear the system,
there is no payment from you. Then no warrant can be generated. But like I said,
my central point is that once you decide not to challenge
after the fact of the ticket,
right, then you pay a late fee. So you eliminate this need to go in front of a judge.
Right, but
you just pay the fee, because remember now, in Peter's case, Peter could not
renew his driver's license until he paid that $5,000 ticket. You know? So we have as a country we have made some advancement in that regard. I appreciate that. Right?
But
because he could not renew his license.
But what more work need to be done in that area as well?
No, sure.
Even though we technologically I get advanced. Because alright, let me tell you what I see happen now. Which is, and I would not want to think that the system is not there where the integration is concerned between the tax office and the courts.
Right.
Because see now, when you go to register your vehicle for licensing, you don't get a document no more.
Right.
When you go at the examination depot to pass your vehicle, you don't get a paper trail, you don't get a paper document, hard copy anymore. Also, when you are insuring your vehicle, you not have to have no cover note or certificate of insurance anymore, because all three are integrated on the system where the policeman with his device can run your plate and know if you're insured, know if you're fit,
right.
and know if you're registered.
Right.
That is available now. Right. So in the same breath where you give me a ticket, gone on the system, and me can go on a portal because it's a rated the ticket register. So I have the ticket and I know my court date. Now, say the court is on a Friday, I have the option up to the court date because I could have never did remember till the same Friday. I could have a change of heart so I don't want to go to court. So say that on the Friday, I change my mind and say, no, but I go to court, no pay a ticket. I could have the option now to go on the portal, pay the ticket. Now, the judge wouldn't know that. But when them call me up, I'm not there. The judge issue to the clerk, say,
Issue a warrant
for that, better you call him not come. Now, the warrant now go generate immediately, you know, because of Friday. The clerk will go wait till Monday. Monday when you go in now, you check to see if me did pay the ticket or not. And then that would give the option not to generate a warrant because it's not necessary now. You get what I say? So you get up to the final point to the court date, 58.
Right.
Because you have a change of heart. You understand me? That could help to reduce these backlogs where traffic ticket is concerned.
But I'm going to this clear.
And then you mentioned late fee. Because it's on the court day, you have to pay it. Then the late fee is going to apply to you now. Because you should have paid yesterday. But you choose to pay it today. So today you're late.
Right.
Today you're late. So it will give you more revenue to the coffers of the government if they do apply this.
And it is interesting because there are other systems, other places which exist. For example, the Office Company of Jamaica.
The company's office.
The company's office.
Sorry, the Company Office of Jamaica. Your business expire, your license for 3 years. 2 weeks before the expiration, they give you a window in which to go in and renew your license or your registration.
Your registration, yeah.
Your registration, rather. If and when that 2 week pass, the day after your registration expire, they are imposing a fee, albeit it may be a small amount, initially based on the time in which you take. For example, if you take from, I believe, 3 to 5 days, it might be $500. If you go beyond a week, it might be $1,000. Similar thing could obtain as it relates to the ticket in terms of the late fee and penalty. But as we were debating earlier, these things require amendment to the law because the person who can afford it will use the very same system of law by getting a very good prominent lawyer to say, hey, there's a loophole in the system, this is not on the books, so I'm going to challenge you in court and win you. Even though he's paying the lawyer $100,000 to represent him for a $5,000 ticket. But just to prove the point, to say that there are such greater deficiency in the system, which needs to be tied up, that he's taking that approach to it. Secondly, and it will come out later, why can't it be that a message be sent, this is a courtesy, and also public education and collecting for revenue for the government, that 72 hours prior to the expiration of the date in which you're to pay, either to the court or to the tax office, they say, hey, Mr. Brown, you have an outstanding ticket, pay now or face the court. 72 hours before. So you would have gotten even more, I would say, warning, so to speak.
So send you a text message.
Send you a text message. You must, people in the phone, more than even them other things.
Right, so send a text message.
Send a text message to the phone.
And an email as well.
And an email as well. Right. And that will work. Now, the current backlog, although we're not there yet, in terms of how we're going to find a solution to the backlog.
No, but we did a solution. We are there, you know.
Yes,
but so that's a solution as it relates to, well, not just even traffic tickets, but
to other issues.
Other issues.
Traffic tickets issue
Yes.
more than anything else.
Right. And by the way, let us not be naive. Every country in the world, if you doubt me, check Australia, New Zealand, or even the United Kingdom. They set aside a figure which they say government will make from traffic violation this year.
So they have a quota.
There's a quota. If you can check it right now. So let's say Australia say we are proposing in our budget for the country that we will make $10 million from ticket fines, ticket violation. Now, I find it rather, what I say, difficult to accept that even if we were to approach such a policy, then why can't we enforce getting it that way? In other words, if you say it is...
If you have a quota, we collect 110 million.
Yes, and you issue the 5,000 tickets.
Why you not make it easier to collect?
Yeah.
Because you have the quota, so you set the target. You're not saying that you did not set the target and the premise that you are going to ticket every motorist that is driving.
Right.
You are saying your quota was arrived on based on the violation and likely because we see a trend pattern.
Exactly.
And one of the examples.
Hold on, I want to ask you something though.
Yes.
All right. We financial year start the 1st of April.
Yes.
All right. But the budget is tabled before.
Right.
Yes.
So within the budget now, we say we want 20 billion off the road. And when the 1st of March of the following year come, when we look, we only collect 15 billion. Where the 5 will come from?
Well, you see, part of that you probably would not have made. There's two approaches to that.
Yeah.
You might not have set a realistic budget in that particular instance. Secondly,
but even if it's not realistic,
but secondly,
that is what them.
Yes.
That is what is there.
Secondly,
so where are going to know if we collect that 5 million there?
Secondly,
5 billion there.
Secondly, you could not have said to me, having not made the target, that you have outstanding ticket out there. You can't tell me that you have 400,000 tickets.
No, we're not talking about where you're collecting.
Yes.
We're not, because it tickets them out there to collect the money for make.
Yeah, but
so when you look, we're not talking about the physical collection.
Yes.
Because to know what you have to look on the outstanding tickets and how much revenue you'll get from that when you do collect it and when you collect already.
Yes.
So when you add up them two figures there, on the 1st of March the following year, it comes to 15 billion. The other 5 billion, no defeated, no outstanding ticket, or no ticket, no give it.
In that
in that instance, where you go to the traffic cop say?
Well, it's not a matter. That is not a matter. I honestly think
the point that I try to establish to set a quota to set a quota for collect traffic violations. You are setting up the officer now to charge me for a false violation.
I don't think
because
so.
I'm a meeting quota.
I don't think so.
But people complain about that.
I don't think so, because this is something that has been tested and proven many countries across the world.
The only reason why I would not be in Jamaica is because the culture of our driving.
You introduce the point of our culture. Unless we change that socialization, where the man becomes more educated, and so therefore it reduces the burden on you collecting the money. For example, if you say to me, wear your seatbelt at all times, and it's $500, as soon as I've adopted the policy, you can no longer be charging me $500 for seatbelt because I'm wearing it. So the culture has changed. As a consequence of the change of the culture, government will now force to revise their policy and their quota.
But you mentioned public education.
And that is very important.
Yes. And I used to hear a program on the, I don't remember which station, where they were talking about some laws.
Under the law.
Under the law.
Radio Jamaica, under the law. The characters in these teams are fictitious, but they are based on today's.
Under the law,
yes.
Under the law, it now constitute to traffic is various different things. You need one now where specifically for traffic.
Yes.
And then you put it at that time where you know say a taxi driver and up on the road, him listening radio. So instead of you play two Vibes Cartel or two Valiant or two.
Hold on. You see what the point that you're making now?
Yes.
It exists, but it's just that it tends to be tied to maybe one or two particular stations, and it tends to come at a time on those stations where the listenership isn't all that great.
No, right. So may I say it put it at a slot where the listenership is great.
Well, they would have to pay more money, but then
No, it no matter where you pay. But
hold on. The whole JCF has a very effective, in my view, social media team.
Yes.
Right? And public relations, communications unit.
Working quite well, yes.
What they need to do is that these same programs that are aired on traditional radio, they need to also have these programs also on social media too as well.
Yes, man. Yeah, man.
So that will now broaden.
Put it on TikTok and Instagram.
Exactly.
Not only, all right.
But I don't want to.
I still want to finish the point I was making about where it's not considered unethical or unreasonable for any government across the world to set a quota for ticket violation. And as I said, the technocrats would have arrived at a figure based on trend and what is happening. And interestingly, these countries who have set these in stones are countries with even the greatest of public education programs. But yes, people just from time to time
Just violate.
Because remember, can you imagine if we live in a world where there are peer police?
Well, I have a little chain of thought while you were talking. You know that we're talking about the solution for the backlog.
Yes.
All right? Despite the fact of administrative flaws and whatever, we do have backlog. It exists.
That's the reality.
Well, that's the reality. But here's another reality now. You have two main courthouses in St. Catherine, Old Harbour and Spanish Town. How much days of the week Old Harbour courthouse open?
I think it's now at 4 or.
No.
I think it's about
possibly two.
I think it's more than that.
Right. No. Me have a court date the 19th of January. And I thought it was Old Harbour. And me dress up. Me sick, sick, could have hardly reach all over, because the flu licked me wicked, but me have to try another court date. And I believe it was all over. And when me reach a all over courthouse, he lock up.
Which day was that?
A Wednesday.
I know court in the past happened on a Wednesday here in Olava.
But me I tell you now, say, it's not all the time.
Oh.
So the point is when me establish, why you lock up a courthouse when you have backlog of traffic?
Excellent point.
You need to look up on the courts out. Look at Olava is not the main courthouse in St. Catherine. Or really Spanish Town, and they have multiple
connected.
courts
right,
in Spanish Town.
Right.
Why they don't look on the courthouses now to keep them open for cutting down the backlog? Especially, we can't speak to Olava because my witness say lock up.
And I support you 100%, and that is why I made the point earlier that a 48 or 72 hours notice before, the persons in charge of the court, the administrators, could have even called you on the phone and say, hey, listen, we know you live in Old Harbour. The court is not going to be open or conducted on a Wednesday. And today, Monday, we are saying to you, now that you're before the court, the option is for you to come to Spanish Town and have the matter deal with, because this is a traffic court. And so too, if it is that in terms of hours, why not even move it to a particular hour in the evening? And that has to do with amendment of the law. That's one. In the instances where there's particular cases of person speeding, a speeding ticket, why not even before they get to the magistrate, you say, you group them. You have 25 persons going for speeding. And whatever the fine to be imposed by the judge, I'm not into debate at that part of it. That is the magistrate's purview. Right. But the fact is, 25 persons in the backlog from Old Harbour is for speeding. They are met outside by the clerk of court and say, listen, how do you plead to for this offense of speeding? And let's say 20 says, I'm guilty of the fine. May miss my ticket date and everything, my court date, make me to pay it, but I'm now guilty. The clerk of court then indicate to the magistrate.
Not indicate to the magistrate. The clerk of court will have one device. So you want to pay? Yes. You have your card?
Yes, but
yes. So I don't go so bam. So I can't pay my ticket and the clerk of court say,
yeah, but the point is, we're talking about the backlog. So I'm saying, he now, the reason why I mentioned 20 out of the 25 is because I want, in my mind, I want the parish judge to be clear that 5 persons is of the view that they want to come and see me now on this matter. So rather than the judge dealing with 25 persons, it's only 5 because those 20 persons would have literally pleaded guilty and not going to pay them money, which is a section so designated inside the court where they go to a cashier and pay the money, and it is now on the signature of the magistrate.
Hold on, just give me a minute. It still go back to the solution that I think I put forward. Once you decide not to challenge the offense in court,
yes,
and the due date has passed, there is no need for you to come to court. Why? Because you have the option of paying of paying that late fee, right? At the paying a late fee, which is the penalty, and the regular fee, right, for the offense, right?
That would not apply to backlog, no.
No. I mean, what is already in the system?
Right.
But funny enough, it could apply now. Think about it.
No.
Hold on. Of course, when they issue amnesty, it's the same procedure. They said that there's an amnesty and you just go pay now. It's the same thing.
No, but the context of the amnesty is you would have passed your court date.
Yes, so the same thing I'm saying.
No, hold on.
Just make that the norm.
But remember, say no, we know. I'm not sure if amnesty is gazetted, but to make that sort of amendment where you are talking about, it has to be looked at and examined, so on, and be gazetted.
No, but that's the case for all amendments.
Right. But may I say now, we are talking about the 400.
The 400,000 tickets.
Yeah, where we want a fix.
No, but that's just normally how government fix that. They would issue an amnesty and say pay by so and so, and people usually rush to go and pay it. I am just simply saying, rather than you even announcing an amnesty, you can get that amendment and say all outstanding tickets, save and accept if the motorists decide to challenge it. You just simply pay the fine along with a late fee, whatever the penalty is.
Listen, you were saying something earlier. All right, I'm going to tell you when we experience a juicy beef, simple juicy beef, where in a whole of I can like people in a cook. When you go on a juicy beef, the line long till it bend up.
Right.
And you see them send out an attendant with a tablet who will walk down the line and collect order.
Right. And
the order I go in a juicy beef. So by the time you pay, immediately you get the order and you're gone quick.
Right.
Now, Malice mentioned something about grouping a particular charge.
Right.
Say speeding ticket.
Traffic violation.
Traffic violation.
More physically speeding.
No. So now, with what did already you have a court date? So you have to go Ellison Road or wherever. I can guarantee you that they don't have a system like Josie B, where clerk of court come out with that device and say, all right, what you there for? I'm there for speeding. You want to see judge? No.
And that is why...
Your cat can pay fee now then. All right, good. But we are going to apply one late fee, because today you decide say you want to pay.
And so, that is why...
And then now, she just go in or whatever she has to take up the card machine, you take out your card, swipe, bam, bam, bam. Right. Another car code that go inside with a device, for say, that one you pay now. So when the judge go to that name there, if you call, Ranger, he's already paid your honor. All right, dismiss that. And we're going to somebody else.
But what I'm saying, you wouldn't need to even get to that. Because once the date passed and you did not pay, you automatically accept liability. And now you know there's a late fee. Right? And you pay the late fee. JPS, for example, tells us that if you don't pay on time, there's a $250 late fee charge. You know that if you don't pay on time, automatically that $250 will apply too.
Right, but that'll be a late fee, you know.
Yes.
Yes. May I agree say late fee should apply.
No, so what I'm saying, that those personnel don't need to come in front of a judge. They don't need to go to the courthouse, none at all. They don't need to.
But you can't
outside.
Because they did not.
No, but you can't apply.
To challenge it,
But you can't apply late fee now, because that is not within the purview of the law.
Agree, right? So to get rid of that 400,000,
right,
they would have to issue another amnesty.
And the amnesty.
But what I'm just saying, whilst that usually is a short-term fix, the long-term fix is to make the amendment in the law and say to persons that, listen to me, once your court date is passed, you automatically accept liability under the law. That's one. So nobody come talk about you did a plan to challenge it and whatnot. That doesn't apply. You did not challenge it.
Exactly.
Whatever the case may be. So you now have to pay this late fee. Because remember now, this in the new system that currently exists, it is now tied to your driver's license. So you will not be able to renew your driver's license.
And not just renewal.
So you fix the backlog to me.
It's not just renewal like a driver's license, If you allow certain extended time to pass, where you don't even pay the ticket plus the late fee, it means you make amendment to the driver's license act now, whereas you know if you come and court for me take away your driver's license, when you not pay this ticket
The system can come up with a license suspended.
Yes. Where your ticket suspend automatically.
The license suspended. So you don't have to drive on the road.
Right.
And
So when the policeman hold you now, because you didn't fulfill your obligation, and catch you
So to
again.
eliminate all them man, we have 100 outstanding traffic
but
tickets.
you see,
And not only that your license suspended, but because you're out of road, how long no show no respect towards the ticket where you get. The warrant is out there as well for you. So another your ticket or another your license now come up suspended. But a warrant that come where police are gonna lock you up same time.
in
And we're gonna hold you for guy that court now.
in going forward also, I am proposing that whereas a motorist is issued with a ticket, in addition to the number of tax collectorate, who opens at some very strange times, they can amend the opening time just even to pay a ticket.
Well, them have Saturday was.
Yes,
them have
but
Saturday.
in addition to that, there should be some specific place based on arrangement with government. For example, why is it that I can't go to JP's office, pay my light bill and pay my ticket same place? Why can't I pay my ticket at the post office? Why can't I pay my traffic ticket at Paymaster? Why can't I
online
pay?
on the bank through your bank? What
Why-
set it up at a pay?
Yeah, why can't I
and
set it
make
up
the
and
payment?
pay it and make my ticket payment with all of the relevant information to my banking account? So nobody need to know my business. Or if you specify a particular bank, I go into that particular bank, whichever branch they have. Because you say, for example, if you were to say Scotia Bank or National Commercial Bank, the portal is so established, when I go in there, I am paying.
You have the option to pay a traffic ticket.
I am paying my traffic ticket in there. Government go and get them revenue
All
the
right.
same way.
I think, excellent point. But let me just use the opportunity now to move to the other area. So we have done well with the backlogs in the parish court. But Justice Sykes is saying that there's a big issue still in the Supreme Court. We see where they are contemplating having a judge-only trial. I don't know your views on that, but that's something that we can look at. They're also looking at the speed at which you can get these matters, cases filed and ready in time. So we also have where now witnesses can now testify virtually. That is also another key area. But how you? I think we have looked at the traffic court, and I think we have come up with some good solutions for that. But as it relates to the Supreme Court, or how you think they can expedite those cases?
Well, one of the challenges I see or I know of with the Supreme Court is that based on the number of components involved, for example,
in a court case.
yes, for example, witness, evidence, if a jury is to be empaneled, those really can take some time. However, I want to see the amendment to the law where there start to be what we call fixed time frame in which certain cases to be disposed of. And you have the evidence before you.
But what that cause of disposal?
No, what I'm saying, when I say, for example, I'm not going to even say to use murder as an example. But the evidence and all of the components thereof is straightforward. You have them. So you have a fixed time frame, whether it be 3 months or 6 months. In other words, if someone is charged for murder, it should not be in the court for 5 years. It ought not to be in the court for 5 years. What compelling reason can you justify to me that someone who is charged for murder and you have sufficient evidence against the person that is going to take 5 years to be disposed of? I am not saying whether or not the person is guilty or not guilty. I am saying the whole administration of the case itself. ought not to be that someone who is charged for murder is going to take the court system 5 years to determine whether or not he's guilty or not.
All right, let me say something to you. Some of the judges them are too lenient in terms of listening to reason why the case can't go on. Because I have a case, and within my case, them have all the evidence, camera footage, so on and so forth. And the camera footage was given to the defendant's lawyer, and he get ample time, and him come to court trying to make him think look good.
But that's his duty.
Hold on now. And his reason for getting another date, get the CD, and he couldn't get the plate in a this and in a that, and one whole heap of something, and so he want ample time. He could not find a copy, so he want back another copy, and so on and so forth. And I am saying, you are defending a man, and you are coming to court with some little puny excuse. And the judge said, all right, give one another date. That's a backlog again. Him should have looked upon him and said, listen me now. Prosecutor, what you say? You have everything. You have a CD now. Same way where you want to see it. So on and so forth for examining. Well, we'll do it today now. Because you don't get it how long, and you will never make the effort and initiative to see what is on there. And you will come and ask me for more time. No, I'm not getting no time. This is how cause backlog. So here we are going.
Get the procedure going. Today we're going to start.
Today we are doing it.
We'll get going
so
today.
Some of the judges need to examine the whole situation and stop being lenient on the prosecutor or the defendant lawyer will come with them fool excuse and I look at next day. In regards to Bryan Sykes, whom I rate as a top jurist, we mentioned, non-jury cases where you get used just judge. The only thing me have with that is that use 5 judges instead of 3. Because if it's so complex, right? Because you don't have a jury and you want to have a vote of odd number, 3 to 2, to make a decision if this man will get sentenced or not. And then, these people are really trained people, and five legal brains can bring up something where some doubt, some area where there's a doubt. So it kind of complicated. We have to be careful where we are do, whatever the case may be. So, but me only think him should have had, he mentioned 3, but me think he should have used 5. And not only that too, why I support it. Our jury system, me not think me sure say me like it.
Why?
Yeah man, I will get the reasons. Now, you have a case where it's really complex. And most times, the jurors, they not even have a paralegal mind to examine what is presented in front of them. Most of the time, how the judge or the lawyer, well, not the judge, because the judge give them a final, right, the lawyers present them case. A man can really guilty of the circumstances, but it's how the case has been presented by the lawyer, because the 2 lawyers, the prosecutor and the defendant lawyer, is a competition, and it is up to the defendant to prove that there are areas of doubt with where prosecutor bring forth, you know, forget off the guilty man. So I think the juries as them should have some paralegal education of court proceedings for help to make a decision.
That point is relevant, but I'm not so sure how much would have been achieved with persons, say, selected as a juror being of legal mind.
Mm-hmm.
And in my view, I think the jury selection is such that, for example, you take out the ordinary man with a clean record. So he may be a florist, he may be a fishmonger, he may be a trailer driver, he may be an educator.
Uncapped man.
He's called uncapped, but he's of good report where he can be part of it. And so, based on what is presented to him, he now makes a decision and say, I have a vote, I think this is guilty. Now, when you, in some instances where you have too much legal-minded, they are likely, I'm not saying it's happening, they are likely to sway one side or another. For example, even in presentation of cases that we have heard of in Jamaica right now, you and I can hasten to agree that based on who is representing you, tell you the probability of you likely to win your case, because this person's repetition speaks volume. It has nothing to do whether or not you are guilty or not guilty in this particular charge, you know.
Because I really mentioned earlier, said it's a competition between the defendant and the prosecutor.
And so the burden of proof,
who present them case,
the burden of
more pretty way, convincing way.
The burden of proof resides, as you say, on the presentation and the evidence before. Yes. And so the jurors are tasked to decide amongst themselves which instance or which case is more overwhelming, which presentation is more overwhelming, because there has to be no evidence, I would say there's no ambiguity as to whether or not the man is guilty. For example, there's a particular case in the United States which happened many years ago, when even if they knew that the gentleman committed the crime, one critical piece of the evidence, which is a glove, when asked to present, the glove did not fit.
So you're talking about O.J. Simpson?
Yes, and on that merit, which reasonable juror, even if the juror could have cast in his or her mind to say, I think he's guilty, but the evidence being adduced.
The doubt that comes up,
yes.
Now, like we said earlier, the defendant, the onus is on him to present that there are doubts.
And that's his rule. That's his rule, really.
Yeah, that is rule. And that is why Simpson get out, because gloves were presented as the evidence where, and it must necessarily be that gloves too, you know. But it present.
Right. Yes.
And then say, all right,
yes.
put on the gloves. The gloves can't go, and then, oh, no, for say, this man commit the crime when see gloves on say he was used in a crime. He can't even fit the man.
Now, I want to touch a little controversy on the whole legal system. And I am not expecting any popularity from this statement. To err or to make a mistake is human. Where there are blatant of erring judgment by a learned magistrate, whether at the Supreme Court level, or they refer to them now as parish judge, or the Supreme Court, or whatever level, but we're within the confines of the system. I find that, or unless it is written somewhere else, there seems to be no action taken by those who have access to the corridors of power to say, hey, we find that there was an erring judgment in the last 2 of 50 critical cases. I just using just 2 as an example. I'm probably not 50, but you've made an error in judgment. Whereas we don't know if I hear of anything being imposed on those, I call them well-respected judges, the honorable judges. Right. They are promoted.
Well, I mean, I mean, it's a
So why they shouldn't be promoted?
But hold on a second, but remember, he mentioned 2 things now. He said a blatant error.
What evidence?
In other words,
The evidence becomes, it becomes,
that judge is, he said no, that judge is compromised and clearly making a judgment. Because that judge is corrupt.
But he make a statement before that.
And I'm justifying the statement.
Statement when made before him said, when he must start this line of conversation, him said, to err
is human.
Is human.
Yes.
But
so
that's blatant.
But what I know, yes.
Blatant, you know.
But whether I blatant or not is an error.
And so how the error would have been picked up is when it is referred to a higher court, for example, the Court of Appeal, which is the final jurisdiction.
But remember now, this they now would have to know within the legal system, they will now have a team who will have to investigate that judge,
right,
to determine whether
that error was really blatant.
Blatant, right.
And because of the part they may have a problem with.
And
well, evidence will say that error is really blatant.
Well, there are some terms which I often read in the papers. They say the learned magistrate did not weigh this against.
Right.
It is simple of saying, say, come out and say, you make a big mistake, you know.
Right.
But the nice, or the saying, or in some cases where evidence I say, it was less than candid. The witness was less than candid in his presentation, and as such, you know, caused some little inference in a particular matter. But I still hold true to the point that where it's a matter, and it perhaps too, even though I may sound strident with this approach, it may also, in some regards, erode the social fabric of the justice system. If you were to know that an error was made, and you come out and say, let's for argument's sake, so the learned magistrate is going to be fined. That is an indictment itself on the system. There can be some footnotes in the folder. Where I have a challenge is if I read multiple cases in various medias involving a particular magistrate at whatever level, and then I find 2 months, 3 months, a year, or 5 years, that person has been elevated to a higher office, having known that this person...
But it's alleged, you know, that even the same Bryan Sykes make error.
As I said, I'm going back to the point, error is human. And, you know, but I'm saying, at what standpoint do we also impose, and is it necessary for us to impose?
I think it depends on the magnitude of error.
Right, right.
You see, the magnitude of, because it would have really harsh for a judge going good for 30 years.
Yes.
And at the last quarter of the 30 years, in error. And he's supposed to get the promotion now. And you're going to use that last 3 months to deny of 20
years of good work.
Yeah, that sounds harsh.
In the same context, and you mention it, I would love to hear or to see Honorable Chief Justice Bryan Sykes through his various capacity in terms of his channel and his authority, make the suggestion or the recommendation that, listen, going forward, certain particular case, they are fixed timeline in which they must be tried. For example, murder. No murder case must not be before the courts for 10, 15
I
years.
agree with you because, watch you know, as much as how some cases may take longer time to get out the people them and whatever. But when you have a fixed timeline, it will make the lazy people them
Do them work.
in the system do them work.
No, but there's a counter to that, you know. Because what if the strategy is to delay?
That's right.
But no, to get the person off. So you're
That can be a strategy as well.
to obfuscate and delay the process, and then your client get off.
Yes.
When that is being deliberate. How would you not treat with that?
No, that's what I'm saying. So you have a fixed date, and when I say the fixed date is the maximum time in which the case is to be disposed of. Whereas the person is trying to, we call them delay tactics to try to implement, whether it's to start a trial, people tell you that, you know that people go on leave, which they must, and the evidence that collected. Hey, if you have a matter to deal with, don't tell me that the evidence to be collected, you're going off on leave and it is to be brought before the court. For example, in police investigation. Have those sealed and put aside, man.
Not only that, you can't take leave because you have a case and you have a fixed date for me.
Exactly.
So your leave have to come after the date.
Exactly.
Okay.
You understand me?
Well, I think
Fixed timeline for certain case within the confines of the court.
Well, I think we have put forward some good solutions.
Now, before you go further, there is something in the court system that I find, I'm going to use the term distasteful,
Right.
and I say this against my own experience. Last year, I was to have gone to court to represent someone by virtue of being granted powers of attorney to act on someone's behalf.
Right.
When the matter was called up before the court, up to this very day, I can't tell you the name of the judge, the parish judge. It is against this background, and it falls directly in the previous. It's not a matter for the security minister or the justice minister. It is for his Honorable Justice Bryan Sykes to enforce and ensure that in all court settings, the presiding magistrate, for example, at his desk or somewhere in a conspicuous spot within the confines of the court, the name of the presiding magistrate is presented and there throughout the entire sitting of the court. So when someone asked me the other day, what's the name of the judge? I could only describe female or male.
simple fix that, you know.
Yes, but what I'm saying,
Because,
I am saying, I would love for the Honorable Justice Bryan Sykes to enforce this as a national policy. I know of many magistrates,
it's not a national policy.
No, because it does not obtain in all the courts.
Maybe it's not being enforced.
There are parish judges.
Maybe not, because, all right, do you notice the police officers them know?
Right, they have the name.
Hold on, as you mentioned that,
Right.
let me tell you about that issue. The name tag, yes, the name tag, the name issue came about from retired commissioner, now ambassador to Washington, Ambassador the Honorable Major General Anthony Anderson. Now by virtue of the police officer wearing his name, it started first with the gazetted officer, those who are at command level. If you notice, since the name started wearing off the name on the police officers, one, you're getting more professional looking police officers. They are proud of their name because they know they're not hiding any badge number. Good morning, Constable Brown, because I see your name presentable. How can I be of assistance to you? Stop me, Constable Brown or Sergeant Brown. It instills a sense of pride in the police officer. So I'm happy to see the police officer wearing his name on his uniform. There's nothing more to hide because the police is there to enforce the law. And if you're carrying out your duty, why is it that I can't know your name? I always say if the police stop me, and ask me for an identification, if he's not wearing the name, I say, okay, fair exchange. If I show you my ID, you must have one. If he does not have his card, his ID card with him, then I'm going to make a call and tell me somebody wearing police uniform.
But even prior to that, the officer had a duty to
Establish his identity.
His identity. So he would know that I am Sergeant Brown.
Right.
Right.
And so, but it is in greater now.
Andrew,
Right. So no, you don't even have to say it anymore now.
And Andrew, and that is why I'm saying I don't think it's a hidden agenda.
As it relates to the court.
No, I'm not saying it's a hidden agenda. It's not an hidden agenda, but I'm saying it is something that I want to see
should be enforced.
Every time we go
and
to court.
And it's such a simple fix
It's a
because
simple fix.
All right.
But it's an excellent observation now.
Yeah, man.
But hear this. We have about 30 minutes now left, and I want now to move on to the UHWI Fraud Investigation.
Yeah, so as I say, I beg of Chief Justice Sykes to ask, or the judges, parish judge and so forth, that at the very least in the court, the name of the presiding magistrate is displayed inside of the court, because I gather sometimes they publish on the outside, but once I step in the court, I am going to adjust the judge, Your Honor, in the appropriate format.
Right.
But I should be able to leave and say the matter was dealt with. And I'm not there as an accused. I can't say which was the presiding magistrate. I want to see that for this year.
So where the hell you now?
Fair enough. The UHWI Fraud scandal. We have heard that there is so many institutional breaches, and it's what I'm gathering is that it's a culture of where there's an abuse of tax exemption status. So the University Hospital of the West Indies has tax exempt status. But then here it is that I know you as well as a firm or whatnot. And you bring in something under the name of UHWI. But it is not for the hospital, it's for you.
And I'm bringing it in.
But
in this situation,
right.
So you have to understand. I approach you because I know the purchasing manager.
Right.
Because even as a big man, you know, so more and some office furniture, more you buy it for me. I mean, okay, I think.
No, here's the thing now. We don't know that.
No.
But in this particular case,
yes.
Right, based on the audit carried out by the Auditor General's Department, they said it is estimated that over 20 million Jamaicans
No, man, I'm on that.
has
20
has been lost, right, in potential revenue, right? It also mentioned procurement breaches, right, where 51 contracts valued over $521 million lack proper documentation, right? And there is what you call retrospective procurement being done, whereby the hospital often engage in retrospective procurement procedure, where the suppliers were invited to bid for goods and services that had already been delivered.
Right,
So you deliver the stuff already, but then now.
Why? I don't.
6 months later, me tell us to submit a bid.
Because they want, all right.
But hold on.
They want to fix the problem with them create.
Yes, man. But my thing is these people are not even smart. They're not even smart, because one would have thought that they would have backdated the bid. You understand me? Long before the delivery date. Right? So that is what happened, in which the auditor picks up that.
There's so much wrong things in that, Andrew.
Missing financial reports. UHWI failed to submit audited financial statement and annual reports for 6 consecutive years. I must tell you though, I've worked in government for 11 years. And for someone who also listens to current affairs, this is, you see The lack of submission when it comes down to financial statement and audited reports, it is something that has been pretty much, in my view, normalized in government, you know. And
government.
my issue with this, in terms of how do we fix this? One, where there such breaches have occurred and is still happening, there's absolutely no way the CEO and some other members of the management staff should have a job.
Let me put
And where criminal proceedings should follow. Let the chiefs fall where they may.
let me quickly pull up.
Until when we make an example out of some of these people who are well paid.
All right. Well, one other thing where
It will continue.
one other thing where you must not rule out. As you mentioned, it's a culture. You see, any institution that is politicized, run by the government with them nepotism and them cronyism, the whole of them something are going to happen. Because Tama eat a food, Aria eat a food, me have to eat a food.
So that's why it becomes
So
cultural.
yes,
Because
because it's a eat a food situation. Because alright, how can UHWI buy office furniture for UHWI? Where get the money to pay from? So you tell so,
I don't understand this.
alright, well I know. Remember say
Ask the question.
you know, all over them buy now. Gonna 4 company, you know, company 1, company 2, company 3, company 4. I know, them everything them, you know.
Right.
You understand me? So now, where the only violation them I look for, you know, is not that you will lose no money. The only part of it them I look for is the tax credit. Where
the government
yeah,
did not benefit from.
did not benefit from.
So if the government did benefit from it, maybe it wouldn't be such a issue then.
Right. So where you will get the money to buy the item when they not even have
The item.
they not even have the item. So it's like
And they never ordered the item.
right. So it's like, and the only issue that comes out now is the tax avoidance. Right? Is the tax avoidance where the government forget. That's all came out, you know. So over money by this thing.
But remember, you know, they also mentioned that, you know, 51 contracts, right? Valued at over $521 million. Lacked proper documentation. Now, that is a very vague term by the Auditor General's findings, you know. But whenever you see these, yes, but remember now what the Auditor General is saying, you know, when it lacked the proper documentation, what were those documents first and foremost?
You know, I want to.
It's a bit vague, but if you look, well, I know, if you look on this sector, the minister of this sector is plagued with not just this UHWI thing, but look on the company where them say indirectly influence forget over $70 billion water contract.
I don't want
you
to.
Understand me?
I don't want to.
So the minister will control the health sector. Him need to take the task for this because too much things
I don't want
come up.
No, but hold on.
Where him is concerned.
No. All right.
Hold on.
I was fortunate enough to be amongst a group of journalists when they visited the new Wolaba Health Center that is being built. Right? And the question was put to him. For those watching now, they can go to the Wolaba News YouTube platform and they will see that interview, right?
Yes.
the minister said two things that is important, and for me, I can't knock the minister too hard. Here's why. He said a lot of the things that come out in this finding predates him many, many years before, right? It predates even this administration. That's one. Not an excuse, but I'm just saying that this is also a challenge for him as the minister. Two, there is, he the minister, is also asking for clarification whether or not the UHWI is governed by the government of Jamaica because there's a university charter that seems to supersedes the government of Jamaica rules and regulations. And he, the minister, is now seeking guidance on that. So that goes to show you how complex
And
this situation is. He also doesn't have the power to select all the board members. He has a quota, and then you have other organizations. I can't remember them off my head right now.
that is why.
Who selects the other board members?
And that is why.
So the most in this case, which I think he should have done, which he did not, was to have asked the board to resign en bloc. I think that should have happened. Because seeing that this thing has been happening for so long, right? And the board members, I believe, majority of them were reappointed after the general election, right? So they are quite aware of the culture that exists.
So you're saying, so I just use the terminology culture. This came out now. But if you use the terminology culture, you're saying it is something that is ongoing.
It's ongoing. It's ongoing. It's a culture.
No,
It's
so-
a,
so-
all right, so let me come.
So I want to first comment on this by first pulling what we call in journalists, pulling the red herring across the trail.
Right.
Now, in your statement, you mentioned that the Auditor General report would have indicated that some of the there were unaudited reports for as much as 6 years, correct?
Yes, 6 years.
So the question I want to ask, how is it that the Auditor General did not check this, did not do any check on you for the past for 6 years?
No.
Just asking that one.
Well, the question now is that was there any audit of UHWI carried out by the Auditor General
In 6 years?
within the last 6 years? We are not sure of that.
Yes, and so it is very interesting, and I'm not defending neither the UWI nor the Attorney General. I am asking a fundamental question: is why is it that it took you 6 years to find out this irregularity? That's the first question. Now, in terms of dealing with the particular issue at hand, which is in terms of the various aspects of fraud or alleged fraud in terms of the administration of what exempt. The first approach to this is immediately start putting in stricter guidelines and policies. Because if you still, whilst it is in before and it don't reach to the court level yet, whilst it is in the public domain right now, the very same thing is likely to be happening with the same people moving chairs because there is no guideline policy to change that culture, as you mentioned.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
So who would have put in the guidelines? Because watch now.
In this particular...
Andrew just mentioned that when Minister Tufton was interviewed when he was around there,
Yes.
it came out that him have the full autonomy to choose the board, and it's like the hospital is run by the government and another
Yes, but it's not so fundamental about changing the board immediately, you know.
No, it's not about the board. No, that's not the line I'm going down.
Yes.
You mentioned that you know, these things need to fix now because it could have happened. Who will go fix it? The government or the university? Or two of them?
There has to be a collaborative approach in finding a solution to it. If it is that it falls within the purview of the Minister of Health and the U in terms of the administration of the hospital, then there has to be a concerted effort to solve this problem. In other words, the minister might suggest to say, amend policy A, and the board working in concert with the other stakeholders to say, yeah, this needs to fix right away. So in other words, you minimize the loophole. Do not allow the same trend to continue. We're saying, because I don't have full hands and full control of it.
I'm going to ask you one question.
Remember, this is what the minister is asking. The minister now is saying, who has the authority now?
Well, I know, because
the university charter or the government of Jamaica?
Right. So I'm going to ask the question now.
Yes.
Investigation are going on. So, based on where Christopher Tufton said, it would want to appear that it is not the government full autonomy around UHWI. So it's like there's a section of it where private. So if me know they are UHWI from the private part, and Andrew want 2 car, and he say, all right, I want 2 car, but I don't want to pay a full duty. And your institution only have to pay 10%. I'm saying, Andrew, we are talking about Andrew, man. I don't know that. How much you 2 care? Just send them to me, lodge the money to the bank, and me buy them online, bring them in, get the tax exempt where you want, and give. So, let me ask you something now. I sell him back, you know. But because I get tax exempt.
If that were to occur,
what I know, tell me now, what you charge me for?
If that were to occur and it can be proven
that misuse
that is a egregious
or abuse
of power and authority, and as a consequence, during the investigative process, it is my considered view that charges can be laid or will be laid against persons who participated in such a scheme. And so therefore, whether or not it falls in the purview of the Minister of Health or the UHWI board, whereas the investigation is in place or is complete, then I suspect charges may be laid against those persons who participated in the scheme.
It's not difficult.
It's not going to be difficult.
Extremely difficult.
It's not going to be difficult
because you will take on.
I don't think so.
Oh, you mean?
The reason why I don't think so is because if it can be proven that you take preparatory step to what I call corrupt or to influence the force or the powers that be in terms of the procedural. Because, for example, one would have hoped that the university hospital involved medical and medical machinery. Whereas, just an example, you mentioned the vehicle by virtue of exempt, that the motor vehicles are involved. Then that is a breach of procedure nonetheless. And so therefore, it stands to reason that charges can be laid against persons. And if charges can be laid, disciplinary action can be taken and people removed from their portfolio.
So I just pull up some information. This is a report carried by RGI. So the UHWI, they have an audit committee, you know. So now I would like to know, how is it that you have an audit committee? Yeah?
And you have an audited report for 6 years.
But also, how did this audit committee did not see all of these breaches?
Nepotism and cronies.
No, they could not. They do the audit only at night, and they probably did when you were sleeping.
Brother, we tell, all right.
I mean, I mean,
I don't want to not to say I'm trying to appear politically correct, but I'm saying these people must have done the audit in the night, and anything about it, they may be audited. They may be audited.
No,
it's true.
They audit committee.
They might have been. They might have been audited.
Andrew mentioned the culture, brother. And in Jamaica, we have a hustling culture. And I hustling culture go and write this one. Because you can't have an audit committee, and for 6 years, you don't have a financial audited report.
Right.
That's foolishness.
No, but also
all of them are eat a food.
But the breach is committed. The breach is identified by the Auditor General's Department. How the hell your internal audit committee did not pick up this?
Tell them what's hustling now going, brother.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Why you wouldn't say it? You're afraid to say it?
No, I wouldn't say that. Is that
no, man, I hustle now going, man.
Is that
Deliberate, me now look on that cause a fax thing, man, and if me can't put fax on that bus.
But you must also recognize
you understand, because fax on me general. These
persons could have read the figures upside down and see a 6 and
you still a human thing, man. You have to be realistic, man.
Listen to me.
Man, listen, I'm a brethren auditor, and I'm my thing. The man decides, yo, me audit fax, I'm going to go on that bus or on that train. Me not do no audit, brother.
No, fax. I may sound as if to say I'm humoring this. So it is a relevant point, but I'm just saying that some of these things really fit true. I deviate slightly to make a point.
Yeah.
Somebody in authority years ago, I say to them that the building is leaking. Leaking. You know, the person asked me, if it's only when the rain falls, it leaks. I said to him, no, it's brilliant sunshine. Go up there now and see if you don't see leaking. You know why? Because there's also so it's leaking.
So it's a leak.
It stands the reason that also some of the unaudited report could have been that you have an audit committee, but they were not there.
You know what, listen, we have to go wrap up. Final fight.
Yeah. My brethren, me train in the field of accounting and auditing as well. Because auditing is part of accounting.
Right.
You can't be an accountant and you can't do audit.
Right.
Alright? While you can do audit and you are not an accountant.
Right.
Because you have a particular area in the studies where susceptible to auditing alone.
Right.
Alright? So there's no way you can have an auditing committee and for 6 years you don't have an auditing financial that is deliberate.
And you don't pick up none of these breaches.
Mr. That is deliberate, my brother.
So my immediate solution to this in this particular instance, whether or not persons are going to be charged, those persons should be fired before midnight or by 100 hours. They should be fired, relieved of them posts, to include the person who is in charge of the audit committee by 100 hours.
Oh yeah, remember,
they should be.
He's an exam man, you know.
Yeah, that's yes, relieve him of the post, because then if you and therefore my basis of relieving of them posts is egregious inefficiency.
Yeah.
Simple.
Well, listen.
There's quite a large amount of inefficiencies came out from the Auditor General report.
Right. Well, all right. We'll have to wrap. Folks, listen. Thanks for watching. Let me just comment Winston, Melissa, and Clear Radio, we call it that. But I mean, very lively discussion, and we're looking forward to another exciting episode next week, same time, same place. Thanks again, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment in the comment section, and if you have any ideas as well in terms of what particular topic you think we should discuss, please share them in the chat or send us an email at editorial@oldarbanews.com. Once again, thanks for watching, and do have yourself a wonderful Sunday. It's quite cool and nice here in Old Harbour. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
remember when it was like this? Come on, I know you dressed up tonight and you look good, but anybody remember when they was sinking?